Serpent is the newest big bad defender in MCoC, and I wanted to show off some of my go-to counters for this guy, both in Battlegrounds and in Alliance War. And for starters, we're going to use my Chavez against this Serpent in Battlegrounds. And Chavez is probably my favorite Battlegrounds counter to Serpent because of the fact that she's just going to have an absurd amount of damage because Serpent gains buffs, and also she's just going to keep his power gain in control or inverted in some scenarios. So if you keep up 2 negative zones, you're just going to invert his power gain the whole time. He's going to be throwing less specials, and that means less chip damage. And we're also in a meta currently where the defenders can crit through the block, meaning Serpent is actually hitting me a lot harder than he normally would be, which is really cool. So that Serpent goes down really fast because it was not a Ascended rank 5, and it also wasn't a max Sig Serpent, so he didn't have the longest duration on his death immunity. But still, if you want to know how to fight Serpents with Chavez, you kind of just spam some negative zones and you're kind of chilling and just wait for the death immunity and you're fine. Next up is going to be with Tigra, and Tigra is definitely harder, a lot harder than Chavez is, just because you do need some decent AI, and again, the crit through the block meta makes this a lot harder because I want to bait out heavy attacks. But you can also make him miss. You can like phase his special too sometimes. But you do have to be aware of that fear debuff. It is a little bit hard to deal with sometimes. But here I could dash in. I should have just dashed in. I have no idea why I wouldn't. I think it took me a minute to realize, oh wait, he doesn't have that true focus. So I could have made the fight a lot faster if I dashed in, but it's okay. And I also forgot about the unblockable because this was me getting used to fighting Serpent a bit. But I haven't fought him a lot with Tigra since then, so see, I messed up the spacing, but, you know, we're getting there. I'm still learning the matchup, but Tigra does a really good job if you can figure it out, and I did it pretty fast, even without not knowing exactly how to do everything. 58 seconds with a decent amount of health considering it's crit through block meta. But last up, I want to show Clairvoyant doing it, and this is a fight from Alliance War, because Claire is usually my go-to Serpent counter for Alliance War, since he is tactic, and I am going to need some tactic attacker to take him. And Claire is the best for him, in my opinion, unless you're using maybe a Symbiote Supreme, but this Serpent is on Hazard Shift, so I can't use Symbiote Supreme. And I feel like there's 3 really common Serpent placements on the war map. 1 is the final boss, 2 is on node 38 with right back at it, and the 3rd one is just any of the 3 Hazard Shift nodes, because he does pretty well on all 3 of them. But I think I've fought Serpent on all 3 of them too. All 3 of the different Hazard Shift nodes, all with Claire, and if she just does a really good job for all of them, especially if you can get an Odin free fight. It's very hard to do without it, but at the same time, it's definitely doable without it. And you're going to see me do this Serpent fight, staying in only 1 curse, so I basically do have to chill for 1 phase too. But I immediately messed up the fight just because I got hit by his unblockable. I thought the death immunity was up, but it wasn't. It was up, but I thought the death immunity was going to prevent him from going unblockable. So, yeah, that didn't happen, so I lost like half my health already, but that's okay, because we're gonna still do a really good job on this fight. I have a lot of tactic prowess, so I don't need to worry about that. I have a lot of my nullify charges. I don't even remember. Clairvoyance charges, that might be what they're called. And she's not really very fast, just because that resistance up does annoy Claire a lot. But at the same time, she's just keeping him under control, and that is definitely something you need to do against the Serpent, especially in a war setting, keep him under control. So I switched to my Incinerate Curse for some reason, which might not have been the best move, because now I gotta switch my curse twice to get back to poison immunity, so I'm going to take some chip damage. And I'm pretty sure I realized pretty fast that's not the play, and I should just stay in the poison curse. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the fight, I believe. But I also threw my SP2 in the Incinerate phase and just got very lucky, only getting 2 Incinerates on myself. So that was a big mistake, but from here on out, I'm like, okay, I'm at 20% health and he's at 50, and I need to find a way to kill him. So I think the only way I can do that is by going to my SP3, otherwise I'm going to die of chip damage. So we're going to go to the SP3, we're going to get the death immunity. I hit 1% health there. But I'm like, it's okay, I get the death immunity and I can survive a good bit longer, and we're going to have a lot more wiggle room. So we throw the SP3, it's going to do a good bit of damage because it consumes your Clairvoyance charges to do a lot more attack on the special. So he's down to 25% and I have death immunity, so now I'm feeling a lot better. He throws his SP1 that's going to trigger my death immunity buff, and then we are just kind of chilling for a minute while he's in the Incinerate phase. and I'm going to get some tactic prowess, and he's about to switch to poison phase, which is where I'm going to be a-okay. So I'm going to try to get an opening, and we're going to get it right there, and we're going to throw the SP2. It's going to do a good bit of damage, and power control him. I want to throw another SP2, but now he's back in the incinerate phase, so I need to not do that for a minute. Luckily, he does not have any power or a bar of power to throw a special attack from here, and so I just wait out the incinerate phase, get to the poison one, throw the SP2, power controlling him even more. We're going to throw another SP2 because he got a crit at the end, so the power back boosts are going crazy. We throw that SP2, and then we're going to throw the relic right there. He blocks it because I shouldn't have done that, but we're going to be okay because we don't have any tactic prowess, but we're going to cycle into the incinerate phase and he's going to die. So that is one of the biggest roller coaster Serpent fights I've ever had. I think I took Serpent 4 or 5 times last season. I died to him the first time and then soloed him all the other times with Claire. So yeah, Claire is my favorite Serpent counter in a war scenario. And yeah, that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing me fight Serpent, and I hope this video was helpful for you when you get to fight Serpent eventually. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.